Falling behind on HOA dues puts your property at risk. In Florida, associations have the legal authority to foreclose on your home for past due balances, and they execute these actions with surprising speed. When the collection letters start arriving, the natural response is panic, but ignoring the mail accelerates the timeline and strips away your equity. The strategy here is about securing the leverage needed to buy time. The administrative dispute ends the moment a process server hands you a formal legal summons. You are now in an active lawsuit. This chart shows the procedural divide. Once you cross into Phase 2, Florida law gives you exactly 20 calendar days to file a written answer with the county clerk. The court system measures this deadline with absolute rigidity, regardless of your personal financial hardship. Missing that window allows the HOA's attorney to secure a default judgment. You lose the right to defend yourself, and the judge will order a fast-tracked public auction of your property. But filing a basic written response stops that default. Even a simple document stating your name, case number, and a desire to resolve the debt forces the attorney to keep the case open. Taking this single administrative step pauses the auction clock and gives you the room to maneuver. Before an HOA can ever file that lawsuit, Florida law requires them to execute a strict 120-day sequence of mailed warnings. The required path: a 30-day delinquency notice, a 45-day intent to lien, and a 45-day intent to foreclose. If the association skips a notice or mails a letter early, the collection process is legally defective. They must restart the clock from day one. You can also audit their math. Florida law strictly prohibits HOAs from charging compound interest on past due assessments. If the attorney's ledger shows monthly compounding to inflate your bill, you can challenge the total. Once you verify the exact numbers, you can propose a stipulation agreement. This is a binding contract where you agree to a structured monthly payment plan, and in return, the HOA legally pauses the active litigation. The trade-off here is rigid. If you miss a single payment on that plan, the HOA can instantly resume the foreclosure auction without starting a new lawsuit. Forcing the association to prove their timeline and signing a formal stipulation transforms a volatile legal threat into a predictable monthly schedule. If your cash shortage is strictly temporary, say you're starting a new job or expecting a settlement, Florida provides specific statutory shields. The strongest is the qualifying offer. Filing this document with the court automatically freezes the foreclosure lawsuit for up to 60 days. The HOA's lawyer is legally blocked from pursuing a judgment or scheduling an auction during this 2-month window. You can only use this shield once per foreclosure case, and by filing it, you make a sworn legal admission that you actually owe the debt. If you don't live in the property and have a renter, there is an entirely different operational maneuver available: the tenant rent intercept. This diagram shows how it works. Under state law, the HOA can bypass you entirely and legally demand your tenant pay their monthly rent directly to the association. The money fills the HOA bucket until the past due balance, including attorney fees, is completely wiped out. Both of these tools use Florida statutes to manufacture the exact resource you need most during a cash crunch: time. Securing time isn't always enough. Eventually, you have to source a lump sum to clear the collection attorney's bill. The challenge is finding those funds without destroying your long-term financial stability. A 401k loan is highly recommended if you have one. You can typically borrow up to half your balance tax-free with no credit check, paying the low interest back into your own account to wipe out the HOA debt overnight. The main risk is your employment status. If you leave your job or get fired, that remaining loan balance comes due immediately, or you face severe IRS tax penalties. If your credit score disqualifies you from traditional loans, home equity investments, or HEIs, offer an alternative. They provide an immediate lump sum of cash with 0 monthly payments. While an HEI solves the cash crisis, you pay a steep price later. They secure a heavy percentage of your home's future appreciation. Avoid unsecured personal consolidation loans. They transfer your debt to a bank, trapping you in 15 to 29% interest rates. Sourcing capital to escape an HOA foreclosure requires a tool that fixes the legal problem today without sabotaging your net worth tomorrow. If your financial hardship is permanent and you cannot afford the property, you must execute an exit strategy before the foreclosure auction happens. Letting it go to auction destroys your credit and leaves your built-up equity vulnerable to third-party bidders. The absolute most effective way to extract your built-up wealth is aggressively listing the home on the open real estate market. Presenting a signed purchase contract to the collection attorney typically forces them to voluntarily pause the court hearings. They know they will receive a full payoff wire from the title company on closing day. If you are out of time, completely out of cash, and weeks away from a scheduled auction, Chapter 13 bankruptcy acts as an ultimate reset. Filing Chapter 13 triggers a federal automatic stay. This injunction instantly freezes the state-level foreclosure and restructures your debt into an affordable, court-supervised repayment plan spanning 3 to 5 years. Finally, if you owe more on your mortgage than the house is worth, you can offer a deed in lieu. You voluntarily sign the property over to the association, they wipe out your debt, and you walk away cleanly without a public foreclosure judgment. Accepting the loss of the property on your own controlled terms prevents an uncontrollable auction from inflicting permanent damage on your financial record. Let's map these tools to your exact financial profile so you can build a concrete defense blueprint. If you have a temporary cash shortage but expect funds soon, your priority is stalling. This chart shows the optimal path. Combining your 20-day formal court answer with a 60-day qualifying offer builds a powerful 80-plus day legal shield. That gives you the breathing room to secure a safe 401k loan without rushing. If your hardship is permanent but you have equity built up, your priority shifts to protecting your cash. Using that same 60-day court shield to buy time for a real estate closing ensures you extract your equity before auction bidders can take it. While the system ignores personal stories, it provides predictable pathways to protect equity. If you have permanent hardship and the home is underwater, Chapter 13 or a deed in lieu gives a clean break. These controlled exits are safer than falling into high-interest loan traps. Panic and paralysis are the absolute worst reactions, as they guarantee that the relentless collection machine will eventually foreclose and take the property. But executing a single proactive move, filing a written answer, requesting a stipulation, or listing the property, instantly disrupts their momentum and shifts the balance of power back to you. A successful defense against a Florida HOA relies on weaponizing the procedural timeline to execute a controlled, strategic response.